You, before the buzzer for a Drew Heatice escape, gave Princeton the win at 125. Tyler Vasquez at 141 earned a ranked victory over Kai Owen, 10-9. But it was another stall call that led to that difference. Jaden Lee at 157 gave Columbia a 7-6 decision late. And then Nate Dugan locking in a final second takedown with Aaron Azaroff potentially having a match-tying riding time point, end up being for naught, 8-5. Those four decisions, Princeton 3, Columbia 1, that's a total of 9 points for Princeton, 3 for Columbia. You flip that the other way, this is 13-13. So it's been a lot closer than the score indicated. Columbia's only chance for a comeback are 2 pins, and Luke Stout going up against Jack Wehmeyer. It's tough to get Luke Stout on his back.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It's definitely going to be a tall order to get the, come out of here with the win for the Lions. But, yeah, it's good to see Luke Stout back in the lineup. Aiden Connor really wrestled hard for these guys the past 2 weeks while he was out. And, shouts out to him because staying ready is not an easy thing to do. And we get Luke Stout back in the lineup here at 97.
And still a chance again to see Connor at heavyweight. Both him and Sebastian Garibaldi weighed in. And for Connor, you hope for him gets back to the mat. Tough loss at 197 in the final second against Drexel last week. That was a decision that swung that dual meet, obviously, by 6 points. 5-point victory for Drexel, but Luke Stout now back in action, 15-3 this season, one of the team captains. He's a second-generation collegiate wrestler. His father, Brian, the only Division I 4-time All-America at Clarion, even more than Olympic legend Kurt Angle. His brothers, Kellen, former wrestler at Pitt, Mac, a current wrestler at Pitt. It's in the family blood, and again, 15-3 this year, 10th by the media, 11th by the coaches. 2 of his 3 losses against Lehigh's Michael Beard, which we expect to see those 2 again later in duels competition. He's among the best in the country.
Yeah, this is really, I think, his breakthrough year. I think this is a really important year for him to just show himself how good he is. I think he's been really close to kind of break into that barrier, and it's been really impressive to see. He has a couple wins against really highly touted guys. I know one of the ones that comes to mind is Silas Allred. He got a big win against him at the Navy Open.
30 seconds. Fans, let's make some
and again,
noise.
just a leader. Leads by example with how he competes. And it's pretty cool to see, him as a captain this year and how he's leading.
Also second at the Midlands this year, Jack Wehmeyer. You see, he's also ranked a sophomore from Sellersville, Pennsylvania, by the way of Malvern Prep. 14-7 this season. And again, 2 really good wrestlers. I think for Stout, not that you're too focused on rankings, but when you're 10th, 11th, that kind of says to your mind, okay, well, I'm right there around that top 8. What's that next step to take? And at this time of the year, this is when you take that next step.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of knowing that people don't recognize that you're in the top 8, right? Kind of having that chip on your shoulder to be like, yeah, you guys think I'm 10, but wait till you see what happens once the action really starts going. So,
a 2-time NCAA championships competitor, but still looking for that first All-America status, which of course top 8 gets you. It starts period number 2 with Stout on top. He returns Wehmeyer to the mat. And again, we don't want to overlook Jack Wehmeyer. He comes in today, picks up a victory against Luke Stout, and all of a sudden that will send a warning shot to the rest of the nation. And last year, 12-13 at 184. It seems like he's really starting to find his form in his second season.
Yeah, and, no points in the scoreboard after the first period. Like, that's a win for Wehmeyer, I think, right? It's like if you're Luke Stout, you want to get going right away. You want to start, building this lead up and give yourself a bit of a cushion. But 0-0 here. Stout putting this good ride on so far through the second period. But Wehmeyer getting up to his feet, doing a good job moving forward.
Wehmeyer once a top-ranked wrestler at the high school level at 182. And Malvern Prep, they were national champs in 2021. So Again, the accolades for both of these grapplers, highly impressive, but for the action on the mat so far, 36 seconds into period number 2, Luke Stout remaining on the ride. Staying on top here. Wehmeyer can't quite get to his feet. Now will, but a return and a roll out of bounds. It's been very workmanlike so far for Luke Stout on top. And if you can get some swipes here, that would be huge. But at the least, riding out the period would be a massive development in this ranked matchup.
Again, you could be even with a lot of guys on your feet, but if you can find a way to get the advantage on the mat, you know, that's where a lot of these, you know, top-level guys are really separating themselves from the pack.
Again, you think about the competition so far Stout has had this season. The Poznansky loss in the Rutgers duel, and then
30 seconds.
2 open competition losses to Beard, and one of those was a major decision, one was a tech fall. Some of those things you're learning from those matchups also kind of help you to stay aggressive in these other matchups where you might have the slight advantage, but how do you ramp that up to the next level in these ranked matchups?
Yeah, I think it's really just about focusing on yourself, right? And you can't control anybody else besides your own, you know, work ethic, how you know, what you did in the room that week, you know, whether you took care of your body, like little things like that. And I think Luke Stout's, you know, he knows exactly what he needs to do. And it's about just progressing throughout the year. Those losses are what's going to make him better in the end to get on that podium in March.
And he gets a thunderous mat return as it went into short time. We're in short time now. Final seconds ticking off. And that indeed a big development for this matchup, riding out the entire second period. So Wehmeyer unable to get a point. Stout chooses bottom. And now he's thinking, get the escape. And if you think about this, this brings us back to 125. Drew Heetice did the same thing against Nick Babin, and it took an official review to see him get the escape in the last second. We don't have such drama here. Stout escapes within 7 seconds.
Yeah, and then Wehmeyer right back in on the leg, right? There's no time to wait, right? We got action to go here. Wow, that was really tricky. That was really nice by Luke Stout.
That, I will actually say, is breathtaking because I lost the words there for a second when he spun it around and gets the takedown for 3.
Little limp knee action, you know, finding ways to be creative, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be your attack. It's finding ways to score in creative positions exactly like that.
So instead, what could have been 3-1 Wehmeyer's now 4-0 Stout. And he is locked in the riding time point. It's at 2.5 minutes with a minute left. And a stall warning assessed to Jack Wehmeyer. And just about before I could ask, will he cut Wehmeyer loose? He does. So Luke Stout thinking for another takedown, leading 4-1. He does have that riding time locked in, so Wehmeyer can't tie it up with a takedown. He needs a little bit more. He tries for a shot. Stout defends.
And this is what I love to see. Just him continuing to push the pace late in the match, right? Not content with just winning 4-1. Trying to get it up to 7-1, right? Really, really good to see a senior, you know, rather a captain, come out here and put on a show like Luke Stout is right now.
And Stout, the junior, he very much feels like a senior because of how highly touted he was coming in from Mount Lebanon in Pennsylvania, but also how he conducts himself on the mat. He will earn a commanding decision in his favor. 8-1 over Jack Wehmeyer. The Tigers will roar to victory in duels competition, but there's still heavyweight to go with Princeton leading by a 22-7 score. Great job by Stout. He looked very much in top form again. Missed the last two duels, but looked like he didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, very workmanlike, exactly like Dugan, right? I mean, it wasn't perfect. 0-0 after.